In reality, the lighting is so warm in here. For some reason, my camera just doesn't want to even acknowledge it. My rings. I knew I was forgetting something. All right. Let's go. Hi friends. Before we start, fun story. I definitely left my favorite setting powder at home. I had brought it with me to wear makeup to an event. I thought I had packed everything to take back with me today. Turns out, in an attempt to not look like a greasy mess today, I instead pulled out Old Faithful Ben Nye neutral set. And I thought it might make me look crazy. Turns out, it's an OG for a reason. My base is looking pretty snatched, I'm not gonna lie. So, I believe this is the final installment of the Lois Cosmetics Meet Me at Midnight Palette Potential series. And I know that in my last video, which if you haven't seen it yet, I will link it up here, I did promise that I would use every single shade in this palette. I have no idea how I'm going to incorporate every other shade remaining. I don't think I actually realized just how many left there were to explore. And somehow even with 3 different looks, there is still, let's count them, 7 shades left. I don't know how I managed that. And that's on me. With that being said, there are a few really fun shades left to explore, and I think we're gonna get into that today. And I think today we are finally going to tackle the dark sparkly void. It's gonna be messy, but let's get into it. Honestly, why are we sleeping on neutral set? It looks pretty good on camera. So I did a 2 looks 1 palette with a Pat McGrath. Oh God, what was it? It was one of her holiday releases. I'll link it up here, where I did basically an all shimmer look. And that I think is the vibe I want to go with today, just because a lot of the remaining shades that I want to play with are shimmers. First of all, there's Midnight, which is this daunting black micro glitter shade. If you've been here long enough, you know I have a contentious relationship with micro glitter, so we will see how that goes. And of course, this Cobalt Blue is just been sitting here waiting patiently, and I definitely want to use it today. And then in order to use a matte to create some sort of shape, I've only got 2 options here. I've got Mysterious or Nocturnal. Also, I'm really hoping that this comes together quickly because I have 3 hours to get this done, which sounds like a lot of time, but in reality, when things go sideways and you have to pivot, 3 hours suddenly gets eaten up real quick. I am actually going to take a little bit of primer and actually put it underneath my eye, which is not something I often do, but I know with some of these shades, I'm gonna need all of the help I can get to keep some of these shimmers in place. I am pulling a little bit of inspiration from our Lord and Savior, Nikki Tutorials. She wore this look in her New Year's wrap-up video. I don't watch her channel very often, but that video popped up in my recommendations and that look was so fire. I think to start off by building out this outer corner, we're gonna go into Nocturnal and see what happens. Listen, this look might be a disaster. It's definitely possible, but we're just gonna roll with it. So I'm just taking this and kind of just placing it here as a marker for the kind of shape I want to do today. A lot of this might be covered up by shimmer in the end, but just to sort of give us a base. It is super pigmented. I was not expecting that. I'm going to go in with a smaller brush and be a little bit more careful. I really like that. I'm taking a clean brush and just going around the edges. That took all of 5 seconds to build up. This might be the most pigmented matte I've encountered so far. I want most of the depth to be on the outer corner and then really concentrate a bunch of shimmer on the lid in the inner corner. So I don't think I want to take it all the way in. Okay, what do I want to do? All right, well, this is a bit of a pickle. Is this gonna turn into 2 looks, 1 on either side? It might actually. Okay, I guess that's what we're going to do. Okay, folks, I guess we're gonna turn this into 2 looks because I can't figure it out any other way. This means that I just might hit every single shade in the palette. So, all right. Let's just keep going because I'm running out of time. So let's make the next move happen then. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Tonight, which I know y'all have been waiting for, and we're gonna start by blending it onto the outer edge. I wanna do this softly first. So I'm just gonna start placing this here and just softly tapping it and blending it into that green. Let's take that brush that had Nocturnal on it and start to buff around these edges. That blue is really pretty. I think now I'm gonna go into some glitter primer, just tapping it out on the back of my hand and placing it onto the center and the inner portion of the lid. Back into Tonight. Oh, there we go. She's saucy. Next, I want to jump into Same Stars and finish off the lid with this glitzy gold. You know, maybe I should have seen this coming, but it's a lot darker in tone than I imagined it would be. Quite a tarnished gold as opposed to a brighter gold. I think I want more blue. Don't mind me just contemplating if this is anything. I think while I'm contemplating my life choices right now, I'm going to switch over to the other side and start the second eye. It's getting real unconventional on the channel today. It is always so weird when I put this side of my face on camera. Now we're on a journey. Let's tap into Mysterious on this side and use that as the outer corner. This shade's showing up nicely too. Taking that clean brush and going over all the edges. It's so hard to match shapes when you're using two different color stories. Now what? There's no plan anymore. We're just flying by the seat of our pants at this point. I guess, logically, we'll have to go into Witching Hour and put that on the outer lid. Ooh, that's nice. Back into some glitter primer. This purple blends out into this really nice magenta pink almost. It's quite pretty. So I think to start off with, I'm gonna go into Illuminated because we haven't touched it yet. And so I feel like I have to at least put it into the look somewhere, even if I have to hide it. Because I really think the natural choice to continue this gradient would probably be Guided. However, I've painted myself into a corner, so to speak. Whether or not it's a good idea, let's go into Illuminated. And just like on this side, I'm taking that all the way up to the brow bone. It's actually really pretty. These two looks do not work together at all, but a promise is a promise. At the very least, separately, these are two very pretty looks for very different reasons. So here's my thought. I think both of them, I'm gonna have to do something really dumb. I think we're gonna have to try and use Midnight on the lower lash line as a liner. I don't know if it's gonna work and it's gonna probably make a huge mess. But I think in order for this to tie together at all, we're gonna have to put the darkest shade on both sides. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I'm gonna throw down some glitter primer on the bottom lash line just to give ourselves a fighting chance, hey? Why am I so nervous? Oh no, I've made a horrible mistake. Let's do it anyway. Okay, I definitely thought the glitter was gonna show up better. Not an ounce of it has transferred. It's just a black eyeshadow. Of all the twists, was not expecting that one. Although, glitter primer really did the trick. Now I must figure out a way to blend this out somehow. Let's grab some Nocturnal. I mean, let's see what happens when I put it on the upper lash line. Maybe the glitter will show up then. Nope, still nothing. Weird. Just trying to blend this outer edge now with some more Nocturnal. It's a nice black though, but it's deepening up this outer corner really nicely and smoking out into this really lovely way. Let's see if we can take a small angled brush and create a little inner corner extension. Well, we're definitely using black in the waterline today. I guess you were along for the ride at this point, so let's do all that on the other side. I will say, glitter primer under the eye really works like a hot damn. And I'm just layering Mysterious over top of that just to get a better blend out of the black. I do like how the black blends with Nocturnal, the green, a lot better than Mysterious and Midnight. This lower lash line is really satisfying to me. This one is a bit lackluster. You would have thought I'd used a transition shade with Mysterious over on this side because that blend out is really cool. I feel like in this whole blending process, I lost a little bit of our mid shades. All right, I guess that's done. I might do some touch-ups off camera, but for the most part, this is where it lives. I'm actually not mad at it. It's just crazy enough that it works, sort of, at least for the purposes of this video. So I'm just going to throw on some lashes and then we will zoom out and complete the rest of the look, whatever it is. Oh my God, guys, look at that length. Look at that volume. And it only took 3 coats of my new favorite mascara. I'm just kidding. They're not even Ardell Demi Wispies. These are by Kiss. They're from Lash Masterpiece in the style Pret-a-Porter. I'm calling it Demi Wispy Gate. The beauty community was out for blood and I'm here for it. This non-cohesive, very asymmetrical kitchen sink look is nearly done. We just need to add a cheek and a lip. I'm actually already wearing some blush. I'm using some Melt Cream Blush today for my base. I used the shade Honey Thief today. I just thought the shine, the finish, the texture of the cream blush unset was so beautiful today that I tried to powder around it. So I think I'm actually just gonna go back in with Honey Thief to amp it up just a little bit more because honestly, it is stunning on the face. So I'm just going to tap back into it and just try and layer a little bit more. My powder Honey Thief finally bit the dust. I had panned that one really hard, but I honestly think I like the cream version more. I'm just taking a brush, it's a fluffy angle brush, and tapping it directly into the pan and then tapping it out onto the cheek. And that color is so, so good. And I don't think I'm gonna add anything else. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this, which is rare. Like, look at that. Now for highlight. I think I'm gonna take Pillow Talk. It's a favorite of mine right now, and I know it's not a very exciting choice, but I think it's gonna lend itself well to this sort of dewy cheek. You have to be careful though with powder highlighters over top of cream blush. If you're not careful, your brush will lift some of that cream blush. I just had to go back and reapply a little bit of that. I think to match the corally pink of the blush, I'm gonna use a pinky nude lip liner. Y'all know what that means. It is Almond Rose time, baby. Longtime subscribers will know I've been using this lip liner, I think, since the inauguration of this channel, more or less. And to keep it simple, I think I'm just gonna go in with a gloss. This is Lemon Lava, my current favorite gloss. And there's the heat. Whoa, Gloss Bomb heat really doesn't play around. Oh, I actually haven't done the inner corner yet. Oh, let me hold that thought and spray her down. So they ran out of my favorite setting spray at the drugstore, and this is all they had left at the e.l.f. stand. So today we're using the Stay All Day Blue Light Micro Setting Mist. Apparently it blocks out blue light. I would love to know the technology behind that, but thankfully it works exactly the same. For the final touch, let's revisit an old friend. Polish up real nice. Folks, that is a wrap on the Lois Cosmetics Meet Me at Midnight Palette Potential series. Granted, it has spanned over 2 years, but it does still feel like it was a long one. And folks, I didn't think it could be done, but we used every single shade in the palette, one way or another. Turns out if you just put your mind to it, dreams do come true. I almost did it again. You're not gonna get me this time. Nope. No, sir. I talk about forgetting bottom mascara as like an external force working against me when in reality it's literally just my brain. I would love to know which side is your favorite. Is it the grungy blue side or the very vibrant copper magenta side? This is no surprise, but definitely the grungier color story is my favorite. And I think what really surprised me is how much I really loved the dark black smoked out lower lash line. I've been really enjoying that these days. Maybe it's just like my inner emo kid thanking me for learning how to do black liner properly. And as far as performance goes, it's not the same quality across the board. It is a bit hit and miss. There are some peaks and there are some valleys. Things I love about this palette palette are how well the shimmers work with a glitter primer. There is not a whole lot of fallout. I think the only thing that's really consistent across the board with all of these formulas is that there is very little mess. Even with the messiest matte shade in the palette, which I think was Nocturnal, there still wasn't a whole lot of fallout or kick up in the pan. I think that is also because they are not the most pigmented mattes and shimmers of all time. With everything in this palette, I had to go in at least one more time to really build it up. I think the most pigmented shade in the bunch is probably Nocturnal, maybe next to Midnight here, which I want to talk about in a second. But everything else in here is pretty user-friendly, and you can kind of go in with a heavy hand and not worry too much about the outcome. I think the biggest shocker of the palette is that the shade I was most afraid to dig into turned out to be the most innocuous black eyeshadow ever. It's really not that scary. I mean, would I have liked the glittery aspect of this shade to actually show up in any sort of way on the lid? Sure. Am I oddly pleased at how there was zero fallout from this shade? Also, yes. So I don't know if I'm just talking out of both sides of my mouth. I really enjoy the fact that it was really easy to work with. I mean, just like the last black that they formulated. Zooey Mama, that was a black. And as much as I dislike micro glitter, I honestly kind of wished I had seen any of it show up. So is that a ripoff or is that a blessing in disguise? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that one. The shimmers all needed layering, but once you get to that point, they are really stunning. This is one of the more impressive cobalt blue shimmers I've seen in a palette. Granted, it still wasn't knock your socks off, which is always what I am crossing my fingers for whenever I see this kind of blue pop up in a palette. However, it does really look beautiful on the lid. It's just a little bit more subdued than what I would have wanted out of that shade, but it did deliver in the end, and so I'm pretty happy with it. I think that is kind of the vibe I'm getting from this palette as a whole. It does deliver, and I definitely think there has been a major improvement in quality overall in comparison with the Meet Me in the Underworld palette. So well done, Lois Cosmetics. I do believe that this is a step in the right direction, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with next. As far as color story goes, as far as theme goes, I mean, if anyone can deliver a theme, it's Lois. So I am properly excited to see what you have up your sleeve next. What I would love to see from Lois Cosmetics next is going further with the formulas, making mattes with a bit more vibrancy, a bit more depth, just a titch more saturation. I would love to see a palette from them that really brings it home, packs a punch. I would also love to see them formulate some shimmers and metallics that maybe also have a bit more oomph, a little bit more sparkle, a little bit more multi-dimensional, because as much as I really do love the soft glam aspect of both these palettes, I don't know, I feel like they're kind of trying to up the ante with every single palette. So I think if they're going to continue on with the trend, the next one might be a little bit more intense. And I hope that happens. I hope that's the case. So kudos to you, Lois Cosmetics. You did it again. And I do really like it. I do really enjoy playing with it. And the theme is right up my alley. I'm a big fan. Big fan of being nocturnal. And for the three of you that have stayed on till the end of this video, thank you so much. I will stop bloviating about the palette now. What's next? I don't know if I want to get too much into it because I kind of want to leave some surprises. It's not like I have a big plan or anything really fully prepared. I just have some ideas and some thoughts and a good chunk of new palettes to get through. Oh yeah, and also there's a palette on the way because I can't help myself and I have no self-control. And with that, I think I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna love you and leave you, but before I do, please let me rattle off the spiel to you. Here are the many ways that you can help out this channel. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can comment down below what you thought of the video. You can subscribe. Any and all engagement with this video is crucial to its success in the algorithm, so if you have a few spare seconds, please engage with this video. You can follow me on Instagram. I will leave that right there. You can follow me on other platforms. I will not be there. And I don't know, embrace some asymmetry in your life. I sure did today. And you know what? Middling results. Oh, this coffee is cold. All right. And with that, folks, please stay safe, wash your hands, and I will see you in the next video. How does a human say goodbye? I wouldn't know. I'm a gray alien from outer space, according to my monitor. See you later.